Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Jake Stenziano. Thanks for being on the show, Jake.
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Jake is Amazon #1 best-selling author and co-founder of Jake and Gino. He's a founder of Rand Property Management and co-founder of Rand Partners. He's founder of Rand Cares and co-founder of Rand Capital. And I just like to say Jake and Gino have been instrumental to me, and their conferences have been amazing. And I just encourage everyone to look them up. They've also got a fantastic podcast where they've had many just expert guests and put out lots of great educational content and great coaches and just helped lots of people in the business. And Jake, it's been a pleasure to meet you at the conferences and learn more about you and your all's business, you and Gino. And tell us a little more about your background and just where you all are at in the real estate business or process right now.
Sure. I have primarily a sales background, and I think that's so important for everybody that's going to be in the multifamily business. If you're going to be acquiring units and you're trying to grow a multifamily business, you have to have some sort of sales ability. And if you do not, I suggest everyone getting some sort of sales training and do whatever you can to work on that, because it's not like residential real estate. And I know this may be simple. You got a lot of sophisticated folks that are listening to this, but at the end of the day, you're trying to acquire more properties and you're getting them from brokers, quote unquote, salespeople, but those brokers have what you want. So you need to be able to sell yourself on why you're the guy to take that down. You need to be a closer. You need to demonstrate that you're a closer, and you need to do it in a short amount of time, and you need to be able to do it efficiently. We're looking at a deal right now. We're going against somebody that says, well, we'll close in 90 days. Do you think the sellers want to wait around for 90 days when everyone else is closing in 60 days? No, they do not. So it's very key to be able to communicate with folks and be able to sell folks on why you're the guy to get the deal done and get it over the line. So with that being said, I started in sales, and it's probably been the best thing that's allowed our business to grow. Started off at Radio Shack. I love Radio Shack. I know Radio Shack's a dying thing, but I love Radio Shack. I got my sales career started in Radio Shack. It was 100% commission sales. I started off basically getting yelled at. They didn't really, they're like, get your hands out of your pocket. What are you doing? Within a month, I was the #1 sales rep in the Rochester district. I grew up in Western New York, and I held on to that spot, never faltering, never leaving the #1 spot until I left the company. I ended up getting into business cell phone sales, and then on to pharmaceutical and vaccine work, which led me down into the Knoxville area. That's a very, quick summary, but the key here is sales is so important in this business, and you have to have some sort of sales background to get things done if you want to do it in a big way. So
incredible. So, a little more background. I know you and Gino have recently passed over the 1,000 unit mark. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we just crossed over 1,000 units. The first 900 and some odd units we did all in house with the strategy that we call refi and roll. We got into these properties. We fixed them up. We forced the appreciation. We put non-recourse debt on them. We love going in with community debt. We can talk about that later if you want. But I love community bank financing. We refinanced. We sent them out to the pasture, right? We sent them out to the agencies, non-recourse. We're blending 10 and 15-year debt on these things because I do believe that the rate risk is real. We're in a very low rate risk environment, low cap rate environment. So you could see inflated values right now. So you got to be very careful. So that's essentially what we've done. And this last deal, we actually did a syndication deal because over time we built up this list of investors, and I don't know if there's 600 or 700 folks on our investor list right now. And it was because of things like coming on folks show like yours and just explaining the model that we've used, and we were able to really prove our model before we ever brought anyone on and shared our deals with partners. So it was a great experience. We brought on Dylan Marma, who's done a fantastic job heading up the syndication company, and that's Rand Partners. And we're looking to do a few more of these and create some more opportunities for folks in the future.
So tell me, about the process. Y'all been, congratulations, by the way, getting to 1,000 units. I know y'all.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, y'all have been working so hard, and it's obvious, y'all are successful and making this happen. And so tell me a little bit about moving from, the type of strategy that you all had going to the syndication model. What was some difficulties or things that you had to overcome to make that happen, and why?
Yeah, so I think a little bit more about the strategy there, and it's more of having various tools in your tool belt, because I think every deal is different. We're doing a 145 unit deal right now, where we're just doing it in house, same way we've always done deals. We're just buying it. I think it's key for folks too that to have a blended strategy, because you get such great tax benefits from owning real estate that you want to do probably at least one deal a year in-house, so you really get those tax benefits and get the huge depreciation savings. So for us, it was just, okay, if a $30 million deal comes our way and it's beautiful and we love it, we want to take it down, syndication is going to be basically the tool to take that vehicle or to take that deal down. If we're doing I think the deal we're doing right now is like a $5 million deal. Well, we're doing that one in-house with our own capital. So I think it just depends on the deal, and you want to have flexibility to have various ways to take it down. Look, if we did a 281 unit deal back in the day that was fully owner financed. If a deal like that comes our way, we've done those. We have the means to do that as well. So whatever the deal may look like, I think we just want to be prepared, so that is going to increase our chances of winning.
Awesome. So help us to become better salesmen. All of us, we didn't start in Radio Shack and, start learning how to sell.
Everyone get a commission sales job at Radio Shack, and that'll take care of it. So yeah, I think one of the important things is to educate yourself. And there's a million different ways to educate yourself. We're going to have a podcast coming out in a few days on our Wheelbarrow Profits podcast with a guy who is, the king of sales. I believe he's the king of sales. First business book I ever read. His name's Jeffrey Gitomer. His famous quote is, "People don't like to be sold, but they love to buy." Okay, you got to check this episode out when it comes out. He is fantastic, and so I think it's key to educating yourselves. You can go out, pick up. There's a ton of different books out there. I think you align yourself with folks that are doing it the right way. I think Gitomer is one of the guys that are doing it the right way, and just like yourself and any of the other guys that are educating themselves on real estate syndication. Get out there and educate yourself. Align yourself with the right folks in sales. And I think it goes back to, having the right resources. We have something we call a credibility book that we use in the Jake and Gino community. It's enabled, and it's funny because if you take it back even further to my pharma days, we had something that everyone called a brag book. It was literally, I'm like dating myself. It was a leather brown, little leather binder, and all your sales awards you would put in it. So when you're going for the promotion or you're going for the next job, you'd sit there and you would detail, the prospective guy. Well, guess what? If you're going to a bank, you're going to a broker, they're going to want to know about you. So you have your pitch book, your credibility book, your sales binder, whatever you want to call it. Put in those successes, be able to translate what you're about and why you're the person that's going to close. Okay. It's basically, it could be anything from, I've had a small business, I've closed, a smaller property and I'm looking to scale up, whatever it may be. You want to have that information readily available because people don't want to waste their time. Brokers have a lot of places to go right now with their deals, and they want to know that whoever they're taking that deal to, that person is going to be able to get it done. But yeah, I would just say, get out there, get some good sales education. And I think, something like Gitomer would be a great place to start.
So tell me, go in a little more detail about the credibility book. And I give you and Gino just a level of respect for just how you've created this. You've helped so many develop that book, and encourage listeners to check it out. But, give us some details of, I hear it all the time. Well, I don't have any experience, Whitney. I haven't been in real estate. What can I show somebody? How do I, how does that person show that they're going to be a closer, or how does that happen?
Yeah. So I didn't have any experience either. Right. We all start somewhere. I had sales experience and Gino had restaurant experience basically starting out. So we were, we didn't necessarily, and the funny thing was the credibility book that maybe it worked on our first deal, but you have to start somewhere. There's nothing wrong with starting with a 25 unit complex. It all depends on your strategy. If you want to go out and syndicate a huge deal in your first one and you have confidence in yourself to do that, great, go do it. But you got to get started. So that's the key. So we started with a 25 unit complex. The credibility book basically showed our business plan for how we're going to turn properties around, how we're going to take them over, and then shared our background and our experience. So it wasn't much, but it was sort of like something you take on an interview to somebody. The key was it maybe didn't work so well with the broker on the first deal because we didn't have a lot of experience, but you know where it did work? the bank.
Hmm.
I slid that thing across the table. Banker looked at it, and they have meetings. They go and they passed it around their meetings. Everyone saw it. It showed a low level of sophistication and detail, attention to detail, and that helped us get it over the hump. In addition to that, that was a half owner finance deal. We financed half the down payment owner financing on that first deal. That's not easy to do. Okay, and that's coming off the back of the Great Recession and everything. So you can use it in various places. In the beginning, it's showing people that you've taken the time to tell what you're about, what you're going to do, and it makes a big difference.
So tell us about the first syndication. Tell us, maybe some things you had to. What were a couple sales?
No, it comes back to sales, and here's a really cool story. So we're Dylan and I were up in Kentucky looking at a bunch of deals. We have basically a 4-hour radius around Knoxville where we're buying, because we do have an in-house management company. We're vertically integrated, and we feel comfortable right now of stepping out about 4 hours so we can take something down in-house without getting too stretched thin. Spent an entire day looking at deals in Kentucky. Everyone was showing us this stuff that we didn't want to see, right? It's like, okay, yes, this is not in a good area. This is overpriced, blah, 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 blah. We've all been there. But the key is getting into a market. And then we're really pressing the guy, at the time, you got anything else? You got anything else? And going back to the credibility book, in our credibility book, it talks about mom and pop apartments. That's what we buy. We don't want the stuff that's already been repositioned, that's selling for 80 to 100 a door. We have a hard time extracting value out of that. We like things that are, owned by a family. They're burned out. They don't want to be doing it anymore, because we're going to provide an opportunity for them to get out of their problem, and we're going to go in and put professional management in place. So that's even furthermore about the credibility book. Last deal of the day, we're driving on the sort of the west side. If anyone knows anything about Louisville, not the best area. And we were driving south. It was rough. We're just driving. It's like, you see like cars on blocks, and there's a ton of liquor stores, bars in the window. I'm like, man, should we just go home at this point? This is stupid. He's like, just hang in there. We got one more to go look at. I was pressing this guy. Dylan was like, I was pressing him. I said, give me one more. Show me something. So we're heading down, and it was like literally the seas started to part. We get it. We see a residential community. It's getting a little nicer. We start to see some nicer homes. Then there's a Kroger on the left. And I'm like, oh, because we like buying next to Kroger's and Chick-fil-A. We let the big guys do the research for us. We find that those tend to be in good areas. And then we pull in, and I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this deal before. It looked like our third deal, our Park Place deal. So you like looking for things that you've had experience with and you've done. It was virtually identical. We go into the leasing office, and the broker's there, and then there's these two people standing there, and I'm like, who are these folks? So we just start talking, like, do you want a water? Sure. And then finally it came out, those were the owner-operators of a 132-unit complex. So we're walking the complex, we're talking, and you could just start to feel the pain coming to the wife who was managing it. And I, sales is about asking the right questions, asking smart questions, asking open-ended questions. And I said, tell me about what life's going to be like when you're finally done with this place. And the life just came out of her, and this whole different person came out. She went, as she was walking up the stairs. And then she went into this, this sort of like, 30-second, just like pitch about how it's going to be really good. And she's looking forward to moving on because, the challenges that come with managing people. And that was her pain point. So that was the problem that we were solving, because she wasn't able to scale up. She wasn't able to systematize. 132 units wasn't enough to really put proper systems in place. So we knew right there that was the pain. And then as we went into the maintenance office, there's this old Ford 8N. For those of you who know, it's an old tractor. It's got two little wheels in the front, bigger wheels in the back. And I said, is that an 8N? And the husband looks at me and goes, yes. And I said, wow. And this is where rapport comes in sales, because I said, my grandpa and I used to pull logs out of the woods and cut them up for firewood when I was a kid. He goes, me too. So that's the rapport piece, because when you can find common ground with somebody and build rapport, that's one of the first steps in sales, and then finding solutions. Sales is not about finding the pain, but it's more about creating solutions and aligning, opportunities with solutions. So we were able to remove the property from them, which was a problem. We built rapport on the front end. So that's Gittimer sales. That's sales 101 right there. It's building rapport and solving, and creating solutions and aligning those for folks. So that's sort of how that one went down. But from there, they were realistic with the price, and created a great opportunity for everybody involved. So
I want to tell you about an upcoming real estate investing conference hosted by my good friend, Joe Fairless. Every February, Joe brings his best ever conference to Denver, which brings together the top high-level experienced real estate speakers and sponsors that has proven to be the best ever networking, content, and strategies to help grow your portfolio. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Ticket prices increase weekly, so you want to buy today. I attended in 2018, and I can guarantee you do not want to miss this conference. February 22nd and 23rd, 2019 in Denver. Go to besteverconference.com to reserve your seat today. That's besteverconference.com and use hashtag Whitney to save 10%. That's hashtag Whitney. So tell us a little about how that deal was structured.
In terms of like the syndication and everything like that?
Yep.
So we brought it was a 70-30 split. It was I think there was a 3% acquisition fee, and I think it's a 1.25% asset management fee. And we brought our in-house management to the table. I think it's 3.75%, so very reasonable. And I think we each put in about 100,000 ourselves. There's 65% loan to value. So, really good basis on the property, very secure in a market that we want to be in for the long term. That area of Kentucky is growing. There's jobs going to it. It's up and coming. So we feel really good about being in the market for the long term. We feel very good about the debt on it, and we feel very good that it's going to perform very well, and then hopefully anywhere between an 18 and 22% IRR in that range. So
nice. So what's the game plan or business plan over the next year or 2 years? How long of a hold for this property?
Yeah, so I personally I want to hold things forever, but it is a syndication, and we may want in 7 or 8 years to roll this one out, depending on where the market is and things like that. Some cool things about it is there's a piece of land that we cut out prior to the sale, so it didn't get securitized by the Freddie Mac loan. By the way, we have 4.58% on this deal, which good luck getting that in this market.
Nice.
So we're probably going to sell the land for about $300,000. There's a couple storage, like very nice industrial type, storage areas in there that we're going to increase the rent on. One's at $500 a month now. We're going to get that up, and then there's another one as well that we're going to rent. So those are nice little value adds that we're going to make. It was well below market. I think they were going in at 580. So with our rubs play and everything, we're going to be closer to 700 all in on the rents. We're going back and forth. There's this, everyone's kind of doing like this white brick with, or gray with the black or, darker gray shutters. So we're toying with the idea right now, but we're definitely doing new signage. We're going to go in. We do very light value adds, but we're able to identify areas where the market rate is very low. And so we're just trying to get the folks up to market and do nice little touches. So it may be, sheet vinyl throughout. It'll be a gray on the walls with a white trim. And maybe like a lighting package, may resurface countertops, we may paint cabinets. But that's kind of the extent of what we do on the interiors, but we were able to, get a much greater market rent for that. And so just kind of playing with the outsides, not really sure, but we're going to get some new signage in there, going to do a dog park. That's sort of our go-to.
Nice. So you had mentioned earlier community debt versus other types of debt. Could you tell us a little about the difference and what type of debt you all used on this property?
Yeah, so we used a Freddie Mac small balance loan. So it's a 10-30. You got your 10 years fixed on a 30-year AM. Now, what the problem with it is that they're a little more restrictive in terms of their loan to value, and we're able to get about 15% with our go-to bank for down payment, which is a community bank, or 20%. So think of how much further your money goes at 15% down or 20% down. We've used this very effectively with all of the properties that we bought in-house. And I'm not opposed to doing it on a syndication either, because I would have basically, got, say 20% equity in the property versus 10% with the money that I put down. So, I'm an equity hound, and that's what I'm really chasing. So I think if we're buying the things right, we have a clear manage right position, strategy in place, the financing is going to be there. So if we finance on the front end, get the value up, roll it out to, Fannie Freddie on the second turn. And then there's a nice little payday for everybody as well, typically. So meaning the refi, when you roll it out. So
nice. So, tell me about the team a little bit before we have to move on to some other questions. How you all are managing this property, from 4 hours away, and do you feel like having the in-house management allows you to create more value than maybe someone that doesn't have that tool?
So I think the vertical integration is key, and it's really been, our success because, when everyone can go out and negotiate a deal, right? I think we've done a very good job of being patient, identifying deals at the right price. If you look at the deals that have sold in Knoxville, anything sub 50 a door, I haven't found anything else that has not been us. Everyone else has been 80 to 100 a door. So we've been very patient and been very aggressive and been able to take the properties that are at the right price. Okay. So we've done very good there. The management team, so our strategy is buy right, manage right, finance right. The financing, we'll negotiate the best deal we can. But the idea is when you buy it, that price is fixed. There's no turning back. When you finance it, you're looking for 10 to 15 year debt, typically, maybe even longer if you're doing FHA, right? But that's fixed. The only thing that's left, and the only thing that's really in your control and the levers that you're going to be able to pull is on that manage right piece. It's a three-legged stool. And if you guys really sit back and think about what I just said, buy right, manage right, and finance right, that's it. That's the framework for multifamily investing. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm glad to hear more, ideas or frameworks, but it's not rocket science. So we really then isolate that finance right piece and try to force appreciation through the manage right. So with our team, everything's in-house. We're not getting charged 10% fee for this or from the management company or 10% contractor fee for this. And it's an extremely affordable rate at 3.75%. All done in-house. So we have a small construction crew. So when something needs to be done, we're not getting charged and dinged, these fees on top of fees, even for materials and things. So we're competitively, bidding out all of our supplies, and our team is on payroll getting it done. So when it comes into renovating something, they're going in and knocking it out. So that's a simple overview. That's the idea there.
Nice. So I appreciate you elaborating on that. And so, Jake,
I mean, we could go really deep with it, but I'm just trying to give the basics of it. And that's, because we got a small in-house, construction crew that does the renovation stuff. And then, your normal, maintenance folks, doing that. We have a regional and then a regional maintenance manager as well.
So maybe besides the sales and the credit sales ability and learning how to sell and the credibility book, what advice do you give someone that says, because I know you hear it all the time, y'all are coaching many people, and what do I need to do, Jake? What's the next step? If I'm just getting started, what's some advice you provide to someone that says that?
So I really believe that it's education times action equals results in multifamily, and I really believe the action piece is huge. We have a company that I mentioned, like Jake Gino, which is our education company that we have. Look, there's places to get education out there. The cool thing about our group is that we do it all. We started boots on the ground. I started managing the 25 unit complex. And so we understand the management. We understand the finance. That's where Rand Capital comes in. We understand the buy side really well. We understand the syndication side. So I think the key is that you got to get started. You got to educate yourself, or brokers are not going to take you seriously. You need to be able to speak the lingo. You need to understand, the different nuances that are even coming, now into the space. But then get your education, but don't sit around, because deals will pass you by and everyone's like, I'm going to wait for the market to turn. I'm going to wait for this. If you're buying something at 35 a door and you're getting 10-year fixed debt at, around 5% or whatever, buy the deal. There's no reason to wait. You just got to look harder for the deal, and you have to be better. Challenge yourself to be better, because it took us 2 years to get our first deal. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the other thing. People think it's a pie in the sky. This is a long game. I'm in it for life. We're building generational wealth. Okay. I don't care if it takes you 5 years to find a deal. Get into your first deal. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's on you. Don't blame anyone else but yourself. It's up to you to go out there, kick down doors, and make it happen. Period. Educate yourself and then get your ass out there and work. Or it's as simple as that. I mean, I'm not trying to be cliche or whatever, but that's how it works. You educate yourself, you go out there, you pound on some doors, and you buy a deal. It will happen if you allow it to happen, which means you work your ass off.
I love that mentality. I can't agree more.
But it is.
Awesome.
That's the game, though. Like we can try to make it this pie in the sky. We can try to make it this overcomplicated thing. Educate yourself. Go out there and put the work in, and eventually you will get a deal. If you don't educate yourself and you don't work your ass off, you're going to be stuck where you are. And I was in a corporate job that was doing layoffs every year, it felt like. That doesn't feel very good. Get out of your comfort zone. Put your head down for the next 3 years. You can come out on the other side and be in something that basically is I'm in a living retirement right now. I work my ass off still, but I enjoy it. But I feel like I'm in retirement right now. So my 2 cents.
Awesome. So what's been the hardest part of the syndication process, and how'd you overcome it?
It just wasn't, because we laid the groundwork up front. I mean,
Nice.
we had the education company out there. We had the podcast. We could have done it a very, much longer ago, but we're a little greedy, and I was just like, hoarding the equity for myself. And the reason, this is why it wasn't hard, because we did the hard work up front. We had the investor list going for, a couple of years. That was growing. We've proven our model time and time again. We've put the Wheelbarrow Profits book out there, shared our framework, shared what we were doing with folks. So I think we could have done it longer ago and it would have been harder, but we did the hard work up front to make it easy now. And because we built many businesses, we systematized it from day one. We brought on, folks such as Dylan and things like that to head up that company. So, had the right people in place, had the right systems in place. We partnered with CrowdStreet as well. So we had the CRM on the front end. We already have, a full accounting team in place to handle this stuff. So yeah, it just, we put the work in up front, and so we were able to pull it through.
So besides the sales experience that you had, and it taken 2 years to get to that first deal, I know most.
Hold on. I gotta go back too, because we were cheating a little bit as well, because I think a lot of this is when it gets hard. When you don't have the money to take the deal down, then it gets scary, because it's, oh shit, what if we don't get the money, right? So we kind of put ourselves in a position where if we got to do this deal, we can do it ourselves. So it wasn't as like, freak out. I think it'll get a little scary when we get our first, $30, $40 million deal done. And we're like, okay, I don't know if we got the equity to stretch to get this one. So that's, ask me that question again in the year from now, and I'll give you a better answer. All right.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
So besides the sales experience that you already had, what's really been the number one thing that's contributed to your success? And I know most people aren't going to stick it out for 2 years to get that first deal. What was it for you? That
was the best thing that we ever, that like between Gino and myself, that we've ever done, is just hanging in there, because it gets really lonely. It gets hard, and it's like, oh, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I think, the best things that I've done is I hung around. I was pesky. I stayed in there. I worked my ass off day in and day out, right? This is the very cliche stuff, but it's the truth. And finally figured out how to systematize. We're really tough the first few years. A lot of, just getting punched in the gut left and right, employee this. We actually got our regional certified in human resources. She, has a psychology degree, so she is built for it. So it's finding the right people, putting in the right places, and allowing them to flourish. So it's just a team approach now. Everyone is super bought in. Our employees are allowed to invest in the deal. So that's the retirement. It's becoming an employee-owned company. I'm telling you, we were joking before we got on the show about the Christmas party this weekend. And man, I'm telling you, fun bunch. They love what they're doing. Everyone loves what they're doing. Property management is not sexy unless you work for us. And then it gets sexy, okay? Because it's very hard, but when you have a great group of people that are all working together, everyone's buying into the deals together, it becomes something special. So,
Jake's referring to the Santa Claus outfit he was wearing at the party.
Yeah, yes.
No, so
Jake Claus.
So Jake, tell somebody that's in the business right now some way that you all have improved your business that they can also apply to their business.
Yeah, you got to read Principles by Ray Dalio. I align so much with everything that is in Principles, and just trying to apply the great work that he's done into scaling up our business. We're doing a lot of different things right now with the personality assessments and finding which personalities align with which positions, and then trying to really get that granular and detailed to really make sure we're making the right hires, because it really comes down to your people. It's a people business, and if you can put the right people in the right places and allow them to succeed, especially when you're a vertically integrated group like ourselves, it's going to take you to the next level. So I love that book.
Awesome. Jake, you've been a great guest. Tell the listeners how they can learn more about you and the Jake and Gino model, and get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you can check us out on jakeandgino.com. We have the book out there on Amazon, Wheelbarrow Profits. You have Rand Partners if you want to invest in one of our deals. You can go to randpartnersllc.com. And it's almost 2019. We got a new book coming out next year. Not sure on the title yet, but it's in the works, and it's going to be awesome. So multifaceted multifamily coming your way.
Awesome. Do you know when the conference is next year?
I do. It's October. It's October, and we got some details coming out for that soon. I think it's beginning of October, but it's going to be in Orlando. I think it's the Gaylord, which is like man, it's super nice. If you guys want to check it out. So it's going to be it's a vacation with an event and a lot of multifamily education going on. So it'll be fun.
Nice. So I hope the listeners will connect with Jake and learn more about the Jake and Gino model. It's incredible how many people they've helped coaching and get into this business and be successful at it. And check out their book and conference. And I hope you'll go to lifebridgecapital.com and connect with me, and I'll try to help you in any way. You can schedule a call. And I hope you'll go to the Facebook group where you can learn from experts like Jake, and we can all grow our business together. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Cool. Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by LifeBridge Capital. LifeBridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. LifeBridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.